You're a engineering exec, you're a product owner, maybe you're a technical project manager, and you've got what should be a fairly simple question, which is you simply want to know the status of a body of work. Now, what I'm really after when I ask about the state of a body of work is I'm not really looking for a lot of agile lingo. I don't want point velocity. I've got a couple fairly simple questions I want answered. I want to know how the work is going, if there are any bottlenecks. I want to know when it's going to get done. And I want to know if we're progressing at the rate I would hope we would progress. So in the Socratic world, I make it the Socratic agent's job to go figure all that out by observing the work activity data across our work system in our world. That's Jira. Okay, so when I ask a question, in this case about an epic, you could pick any body of work that matters to you, feature, release, etc. I'm going to get a kind of an exec summary at the top. I'm going to understand what our progress has been. I'm going to get a forecast for when this work is likely to be done. I'll touch on this in just a second. I'm going to understand what the most recent changes have been, additions, completions, etc. I'm going to get a headline on, do we have bottlenecks? Those could be work-oriented bottlenecks or people bottlenecks. And then obviously a readout of who's involved. The custom component below that exec summary is going to show me a few things. At a snapshot, it's going to show me this forecast view. And what the forecast is doing is I get this little burn up. It's showing me how much work has been completed relative to how scope has been changing over time. And at the tail end, I get this dotted line, which is essentially where we use advanced machine learning to make a prediction as to when this body of work is likely to complete. And that prediction looks at a raft of patterns that are otherwise kind of invisible to the naked eye. It's looking at the capacity of all the people that are involved. It's looking at the rate of new work coming in. It understands the season we're in, and it's using our past historical actuals to model a bunch of historical outcomes and use that to make a prediction for when this body is likely to complete. And I get that read out as an early case, a late case, and a middle case, which is what's headlined above. The other thing that I care about is something that we describe as momentum. Momentum is really meant as a complement to progress. So if I tell you something is 70% done, that sounds good, but your next question is likely to be, well, where were we 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? Because if 3 weeks ago we were at 69%, then 70% isn't that great. So what momentum is doing is it's showing you exactly how work is progressing over time. Are we speeding up or slowing down? In this case, blue is good. Blue means we were at some previous state and we advanced against it. If we had fallen back, if our momentum had slowed such that we were going backwards, which would essentially mean we're adding more work than we're completing, I would see it here as an orange bar with a percentage going down. And again, you can imagine a world in which your progress is at some fairly advanced state, 80+%. You look at momentum and you see momentum is going in the wrong direction. Great. That's something you want to know so you can address it. You want to understand why scope is exploding. As a final snapshot for this particular body of work, I have resource contention. What resource contention is going to show me is anyone who may be running a little hot in terms of the amount of other work they've got on their plate. Resource contention is analyzing, for the folks that are working on this body, how much other work outside of this body in question, this particular epic, do they have on their plate? Right now, we've only got one person whose contention is at 50%. They've got a total of 4 issues. Half of them are outside this body of work. So far, everybody else is looking fine. The aim of this whole thing, obviously, is to get me, in a matter of time that it takes me to type it, the answers to the questions I need.